back again with another video. Welcome back again to the channel where chaos and insanity will always reign supreme. So we're back again for another unbox. This time around, it's an upgrade to the Dimension. Now, if you guys recall, going back to like late June, I ordered myself a new computer because the original Dimensional Grid, the Dimensional computer itself, took a crap on us. It finally died after years and years of service. So I needed something in a rush. It was Amazon Day. I ordered myself an iBuyPower gaming computer. Now it's a great computer. I mean, for the current situation of graphics cards and computer parts nowadays, it was the best solution I can come up with. Roughly about an $800 computer. You know, it's a gaming computer. Not a ton of storage in there, but I did what I could with it. It came with 8 gigs of RAM. I upgraded it to 16. I gotta get into the air filters because there's 3 magnetic air filters in here. One on the top, which I can reach, obviously. One on the bottom, which I can actually access. But the front has like this clear plastic front, but you can't reach to pull the filter out. So I got myself a nice little iFixit case with screws and bits, so I can actually get in there and remove the filter, clean it out. Because if you're a gamer, or even if you're a regular PC user, you want to do periodic maintenance to keep everything nice and clean and running smooth, right? Well, one of the issues I came across was I was trying to get ready for Windows 11 upgrade whenever it pushes out and I get the update notification. So I called iBuyPower because I could not find the TPM, Trusted Platform Media, access, where basically you have to make sure you have TPM 2.0. That's one of the requirements. I did the Windows self-check and it told me it was not enabled. I went to the computer, I couldn't find it anywhere. So I called iBuyPower because I have an ASRock, I believe it's ASRock 450 motherboard in here. So they walked me through going through the BIOS, where to exactly find it. It wasn't actually labeled how it is on most computers. So while I was in there, I also asked them about fan settings. They helped me make some changes to fan settings. But here's one thing. I asked about the temperature of the CPU fan, the CPU cooler. On boot up, just on a regular boot up, not running all day long, but just off a cold boot up in BIOS, it was reading between 60 and 63 degrees. That's no bueno, guys. That is no bueno. It should be running much cooler than that. So I called the gentleman. I spoke to the gentleman at iBuyPower, and he was very cool. He has very similar computers from what I have. Obviously, he has slightly upgraded a GPU. Of course, and you work for there, you're going to get the best, right? Probably gets a little discount too, probably. So I asked him what would be my options to get a resolution on this, to get that temperature down. What do I need to do? He said, one, to remove the stock cooler and to reapply the thermal paste, because it could be that the thermal paste wasn't applied evenly. You know, quality control, no matter what business you're in, you're always going to have some QC issues. He said that's one thing to do. He said another thing you could do is you can always go with a different cooler. He recommended this one. He said he actually has this one himself. This, I ordered this from Amazon, and I did a bunch of research, and actually this comes highly recommended. This has been featured on tech channels such as Jay's 2 Cents. I mean, literally, there's a whole laundry list of YouTubers who have jumped on this because of the price point and the efficiency of it. So what do you say we get right on into this, guys? Now, this is a Vetroo V5 Cpu Cooler. Vetroo VETROO, just like you see right there. It is a Rgb, so it should be compatible with just about any software you may be using to control your RGB colors, and it should adapt to any pattern that you may have. There might be some variances. Of course, you got the website for Vetroo right here. They're found on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course on YouTube. So what do you say we get right on into this? A couple specs on the back. Overall dimensions gives you all the basics right there, guys. Let me see if I can get a little bit of focus right there. So let's just go right down the back. Overall dimensions is 128 by 75 by 148 millimeters. Fan dimensions are 120 millimeters. Fan speed is 800 to 1700 plus 10% RPMs. Noise level is 30.8 dBA. That's the maximum. Okay. Airflow 21 to 52 CFM. Static pressure is 3.61 millimeter H2O. What do we got here? Bearing type is hydraulic. Weight is 761 grams. Recommended TDP, that is your power, 150. Now this is compatible with both Intel and AMD. Shows you right there, guys. And also a couple other accessories it comes with is a 4-pin interface and also a 4-volt Rgb tandem synchronous interface, which should allow for daisy chaining, which is going to be something I'm going to need to do because my RGB controller is on the other side of the computer, on the back side, where, well, not the back side, but the opposite side where the other panel is. So let's open this right on up, guys. Let's give you guys a lower view right there. There we go. Okay, there we go. Nice little cover. We have our accessories. These are the fittings, basically for whether you're doing AMD or Intel. Let's get everything else out. What else would we have in here? We have the instruction book. We have the, let's use this for multiple purposes. So obviously we have a little paper protecting the actual contact portion. This contact portion. This will show that this is a 5-pipe radiator, basically, or 5-pipe cooler, and this is one flat piece right here. You don't feel the piping. Everything's grinded down to a nice flat smooth surface. We're not going to peel this off until we actually get to the point where we're going to put it on the computer. But I mean, this is nice and smooth metal. I've seen some people's videos. In fact, Jay's 2 cents mentioned about that this feels like a much stronger construction, and it does. It doesn't feel like it was just painted black. This feels like this was, I believe, he believed that it was possibly ceramically put onto here, but you can see how each frame, each plate is added on there one at a time here, and I really love that. Now, obviously, my current stock cooler, you guys will see in a video, is it's a little bit more flush to the motherboard. This will be sticking out a bit further, but also with the, as long as I can successfully install this, this will add more lighting to the inside of the computer as well. So, as you can see right here, there we got the RGB. Using some metal clips, this will just sit on here. It's just going to clip on. So there's no bolting onto here, so you can easily take this apart for cleaning purposes. You know, I love this. This is pretty cool. It's lightweight. Do we have anything else in here? No, we don't. That's just the box. So there we go, guys. So we have a little part list on here. It pretty much shows you everything. They even show you, you know, how to apply the thermal paste, where to align it on there. And there we go, guys. Pretty simple. Now, of course, when you take your old CPU cooler out, you want to make sure you're cleaning. One, if the old cooler is good, you may want to hang on to it. Now, there's nothing that says that this cooler is bad. It could just be the thermal paste. But I'd rather kind of take this opportunity to do a nice little upgrade. And by the way, in case you're wondering, I got this for $29. It's priced on Amazon for $29.99, plus there's a $2 off coupon. And I have free shipping because I'm a Prime member. So, I mean, what the hell? 30 bucks for an RGB CPU cooler? Twist my arm, right? So, that's why I jumped on this. And okay, yeah, it does come with a small tube of thermal paste and a little syringe. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Let's open that up. So you get this little tube. It's about maybe 1 or 2 applications. we have some screws here. Now those screws I believe will be for the Intel, but we're not doing the Intel, so we don't need to worry about that. These are the metal pins, the clips that actually clip the fan onto the cooler. And then these are the frames that we'll use to actually affix the cooler onto the motherboard itself. So let's get some of that out of the way. Gotta love these. These are nice and balanced. These are purposely on an angle, so it should fit in perfectly. Okay, now the screws. No, the screws will be used to apply these onto the cooler itself. But I believe they are interchangeable with the bracket. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, guys. So first things first, we're going to put this. We're going to set this aside. Now, if you're wondering, okay, Dave, it has two sets of wires. One is power, obviously, or one is for the computer itself, and this one is going to be part of where the goes into the fan hub to control all the RGB, which is on the back side of the computer. So we're going to set this to the side, guys. We don't need to worry about that right now. Now let's break out the iFixit kit. No, this video is not sponsored by iFixit. This is just my first time using the iFixit, which I love. I love how organized it is. It doesn't feel cheap or flimsy in any shape or form, guys. And you see this case, how it's got this little gridded pattern? That's just not for aesthetics. It serves a purpose right there, guys. The screws stay right there. How awesome is that, right? So let's take a look at how we're going to do this. So obviously, we're going to align the screws. Let's take a look at the magical book. Okay, so we do that upside down. Okay. Fantastic, as the doctor would say. Shows you right there. That's the Intel. And that's the one we're going to do right there. So they have it where these curved parts are going to basically go inwards. That is, if I'm looking at this right. Let's look at it right side up. Yes. So we have our screwdriver right here. Let's take the screw and okay, these are just going to be basic Phillips, so you could do a standard Phillips screwdriver. You could. It is a thing you could do. Okay, that should be good. I don't need anything too large. That's a little loose, so we'll go with that first one I picked. Let's just check the next one, just for giggles. Okay, that one's even better. Okay, we'll go with that one. So, locks into place. Let's get the screw. I'm gonna have to. Let's just get that started. Just want to get those started for right now. Oh, this is going to be fun, getting the label off. Now, of course, before I apply this to the computer itself, one, I have to take the old cooler off. Second, I want to make sure all the adhesive from this label is off of here. So I have 91% isopropyl, I always say that wrong, rubbing alcohol. I'm going to use some paper towels and just give it a nice smooth, but this gives you guys a nice little look here. Now, I got this, I do have a little concern that looks like a little bit of a scratch there, but that's beyond, because right where this kind of silver outline is, that's pretty much the area where the computer, where the processor is going to be, the CPU is going to be hitting against that. So I shouldn't be too concerned with that little scratch on the outside right there. I should be good with that. I should. We'll see. We'll find out. So now we're going to apply the other side here. And I like that this goes down flush so it won't be hitting this. Now a lot of people, I've seen a lot of reviews for this, and they all like the idea that, one, the way this sticks out, there's still plenty of clearance. Like down here, there's clearance instead of it coming all the way out here, that there's clearance here for RAM or any other components, depending on how you're actually going to install this. Let's get the final screw in, and then we'll tighten everything up. Now I gotta say, the screwdriver, the actual driver of this iFixit kit is, I really like this, because you know, sometimes you get those, the top part of the screwdriver, it just feels kind of flimsy and loose. No, it just has a nice glide to it, doesn't feel too loose, doesn't feel too cheap. It feels just right. We have some nice grip right here. And you do have a little bit of an indentation on the side, so you can actually pierce, you know, apply more pressure to your fingers in case you need a tighter grip on that. And I really like that. I'm getting really excited over tools. That's a good thing. Okay. Now, obviously, I don't want to strip it, but I don't want it to be too loose. So there we go. We are prepped and set. Now, just to show you guys how we would apply the fan to it, I'm just going to turn this upside down. It's not touching any of my desktop. It's not touching any dirt. It's just touching the foam that was inside the box. So we're good there. Okay, so we get 4 clips. I'm not sure why, but we get these clips right here. Now basically, if I understand things correctly, this is going to clip onto the holes right here. Not the outside holes, but there's a second set of holes on the rear of the fan. I believe these are going to clip on like so. So you may want to it may be tricky. I may have to lay it on its side. So okay, so there's one. Come on. Easier said than done. So I may have to play around with that just a little bit. One, I'm not used to doing that. Plus, I have big hamburger hands. There may be, I may have to try one of these. Let me try one of the other ones here very quickly. Let me pause this. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, after a couple tries, I finally got it on there. These just basically, they just clip on, like so. This side I gotta play around with just to get it, there we go. We got it in there nice and tight now. And this will clip right off. Now, as far as applying this, you want to make sure you have the fan off. And I mean off of the cooler part itself. So, just going to slide it off right like so. Like here. And we're going to set this off to the side. Now, I probably could maybe flip this around so I could have the wires closer towards the computer part. That's probably what I'm going to do here, guys. Okay. Because I don't want this to have to reach around. Giggity. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to set this off to the side. And now I'm going to have a little bit of fun going into the computer and removing the old one. So here we go. For the cheap seats, I cannot talk straight, so here we go. I just started up my PC. 62.5 degrees for the CPU. Bit crazy, right? I don't have any kind of overclocking on here. Just performance mode. And the full speed for CPU fan, that's what was recommended by the gentleman from iBuyPower for tech support. That's all. Nothing really crazy here, guys. Of course, I don't know all that much about this BIOS to ASRock, but you know, I don't have anything crazy going on here. Pretty much everything is on its default setting. The only settings I've really played around with are the RGB. Believe it or not. And again, those are my specs. ASRock B450M. And we have a Ryzen 5 3600 6-core. That's it. Nothing tremendous. Just 3600 megahertz. That's it. We got 16 gigs of RAM, 2 sticks of 8 DDR4s. That's all. And I still have got room for more. I might add more. I don't know. But yeah, there it is. At least for now, guys. Okay, now I'm getting ready to do all the changes that I need to do here. Now this is where the fan will need to connect into. This is the pretty much the hub for my RGB control. Now I pulled up the top, the front I should say. Now you might be asking, Dave, why are you doing that? If I'm going inside, I'm going to clean up. This is the filter. This is that front filter I mentioned. Now this is the bottom filter, so you can see there's quite a bit. Top filter was actually pretty clean. Okay, so not bad. So this shows you just after a couple months how dirty it can get. Now, this computer is sitting on my desk. It's not sitting on the floor, but you can see how much dirt you can easily accumulate over a short period of time. So I'm gonna see. I don't have a condensed air can, a duster can for cleaning this. So what I might do is just hit this with I do have an old nebulizer for breathing. It pretty much is effectively an air pump. I'm going to try and hit this, clean it as much as possible. If not, then I'll just do a quick pass through, possibly your basic soap and water, and then let air dry it before I put everything back on. Okay? Pretty simple. Now, I'm going to show you guys. This is the stock fan, the stock cooler over the CPU. Now, what's going to complicate things is reaching behind to where the screws are that hold it on there. It's a bit underneath there, and it's going to be interesting to try and reach behind those screws, but it's a good thing I have my little iFix kit with this extendable arm, or I shouldn't say extendable, but bendable, so I can get into those tight spots. So yeah, we're going to be removing that cooler master. This is a cooler master, but yet again, I want to do that upgrade, so I have that big fan, the RGB to light this up quite a bit. And what I did was I removed my RAM here. I removed my RAM so that I have a little bit more room to play around with. Now, I may even remove the graphics card, at least for now, so I have enough room to play around in here. Okay? So, there we are. Okay, so I had a bit of a time because of these clips, getting this off, because I really didn't know how I can move it around, but there we are. Now, doesn't look like much paste is on here. I can hardly feel anything. And there's our processor. I mean, we can see pretty much clear onto there. So now I'm going to get the alcohol out and try and clean the top of that. And clean the top of this. So we'll see just how much. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is much thermal paste was applied to here or not? Let me know what you guys think. Okay, so that's looking a little bit cleaner than, I mean, we just had enough. And like I said, I'm just using regular 91% isopropyl alcohol, Rite Aid brand. It's my local pharmacy. And I cleaned up the processor right there. Did not take it out, I left it in there. Now that bracket and that bracket I'm going to have to remove because those actually match the cooler master. So we're going to remove those, and then we're going to try and put the new Vetroo V5 in. See how that works out. Now, I am most likely going to lay this down flat for me applying the thermal paste. Obviously, I don't want the chance of it running down. And this would be interesting because this is the first time I've applied thermal paste in years, maybe a decade or more. So, as you can see, I'm still having everything cleared out. I'm using some of the alcohol to clean the filters. I'm still going to have to hit it with some air, so we'll see how that turns out. Okay, so I did finally get it put in there. As you can see, it takes a good chunk of the room right there, but the fan does work. However, I do have one little problem. I tried to access my fan hub right here for the RGB, and one of the pins is actually cracked on it. So I'm stuck in a situation right now where I'm gonna have to reach out to iBuyPower to see if there's something that can be done about this. Is there another way I can kind of connect this into it? I'm kind of in a spot here, so I got to figure out what I can do. So yeah, that's where I am. So like I said, I have it in there, and it does power up. There's no lights right now, because when I got to the hub, it looks like there was a pin that was broke off there. I'm not sure quite how that happened, so now I'm going to have to reach out to iBuyPower to see if there's anything they can do about that. Is there another piece? Can they give me another fan hub? That is an RGB hub, to see if I can get this to work. So yeah, I mean, at least it's working, right? Yeah, for some reason it just kicked off and then kicked back on, so we will see what happens with this, guys. Okay, so computer is back together, and let's take a look. Okay, obviously this is the BIOS. You can see everything's still right there. All the memory's still right there. We haven't made a change to the processor. We're going to go over to the hardware monitor. And right off the bat, we are at 49 Celsius. Remember, before we were starting around 60, 61, 62. So that is an obvious change. Right now, motherboard temperature is at 30 Celsius. So obviously that is a big, big improvement. Now, if you notice right here, okay, CPU fan is at full speed. We can do performance mode, or we can just keep it at full speed. I'm going to keep it at full speed. Chassis, we are going to keep that at performance. And we're going to keep it at that. Now, mind you, I am in a pretty warm room, and it's probably about 70, maybe 70, 74 degrees today. So it's a pretty warm day. And this room really doesn't have the best circulation. I mean, I have a fan at the other side of the room right there, but that's about it. So here we are. Let's take a look. Now, okay, right now we're at 49.5. Obviously, it's warming up a little bit. Now, also, now when I was doing the test before, that was when the case was fully open. This was open, the front was open, the other side was open. There was much more air circulation in there. But we're still at 49.5, which is still way, way better than it was before, guys. Okay, so computer's booted up. You can see it right there. Now, this is AMD Ryzen Master. This is used for overclocking purposes. Now, take a look right there, okay? We're ranging between 36, 35. Okay, that is the temperature for CPU right there. Let's take a look at some of the other readings. Not bad, right? Not bad at all. That's what it's reading right now in real time. The temperature keeps fluctuating. Now, from that 49, we started out in BIOS, and now it's giving me about 39, ranging between 42, because it's all the system resources, everything I have running in the background here. I really need to go through my startup and kind of limit that down. But, yeah, a big improvement, a big, big, big improvemento. What'd you guys say? So, definitely, now, I did have to call iBuyPower for some help. Because the issue with the RGB not connecting and an issue with the RGB board. They're actually going to send me a new board with a small adapter or extender, and we'll see how well that works. It'll be several weeks before I even get it, but we'll do an update video for that. So here we are, guys. That new cooler that only cost me just under $30 after tax is working tremendous. So, seriously, if you're looking for a nice little advantage, something that's not going to break the bank, I can't recommend that enough. That's the Vetroo, Vetroo V5. You can get that on Amazon. I'm going to have the link in the video description below. For the most part, it was an easy build. It was just because, one, this is a smaller case than I'm normally accustomed to. And two, I was building it in a case, so I had to remove my graphics card and the RAM so I could squeeze and fit my hands around it. Now, if you're doing this yourself, I highly recommend, if you can, to take the motherboard completely out of your case, place it on top of a box. That way you're avoiding any kind of statics. And also provides plenty of pressure for the back plate of the motherboard, which your CPU cooler is going to be screwed into. So, I definitely highly recommend doing that. If you can, do it that way. Otherwise, you're going to have to do like I did, guys. You're going to have to take out your GPU, and you're going to have to take out your RAM. But hey, small sacrifice. I got it in there, and we're rocking right now. So there we are, guys. Just a very quick video. Thank you guys for jumping into Dave's Dimension. Thank you for following me on this crazy adventure. And as always, guys, the links are going to be in the description below. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. Drop your comments in the comments section below, of course. And until next time, this is Dave from Dave's Dimension saying keep on busting, and I will catch you on the flip.